Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Magical Messages of Love. This is Pam, the Messenger of Love. Welcome to the show tonight. We are going to be bringing in some spirits and talking about ascension and our spiritual awakening and the whole process of how we begin to know more of who we are at the soul level and what our purpose is for being here, how we can bring in more peace and love into our hearts in that process, and just find it a little bit more easy to move through that change in our lives and that transformation. So if you're joining me in the chat, you can tell me your name, where you're from. If you have a question at any time, go ahead and put your question in the chat for spirits. You can ask for the spirits that are coming in tonight, or you can ask your spirit guides, or just the universe in general, and we'll see what the answer is. So tonight, the main thing, like I talked about, is this spiritual awakening and ascension and how we're shifting into this new frequency. And we've been doing this for some time now, and some are now awakening for the first time as well. So it's this weird process that doesn't always feel that great because you're going through a lot of purging of baggage that you've had before, old emotional energy that's stuck, things that have happened to you, different traumatic experiences, maybe in other lifetimes too. It's like a big process that you go through, and it can be a little bit strange because you feel like you have maybe physical symptoms, or you have things that are very difficult, like you maybe move out of a job and suddenly go do something else, or you move out of a relationship or something. There's a lot of different things that can happen in that process because it's you getting to know the real you, like really seeing, okay, what means the most to me? What do I want to get out of this experience in this lifetime? Who am I beyond my physical body? What am I capable of? It's like letting go of fear, letting go of old beliefs, just anything that's kind of blocking you and stopping you from being the best version of yourself. And it's always changing. Like, it's not ever like a finished process. You go through ascension, and it's your whole life, and it's other lifetimes, and it's when you go to the other side, you'll continue to go on that journey and learn more about different spiritual lessons. And so that's what a lot of us are going through, this big shift right now, where the energy is just super heavy and very difficult at times because there's so much being processed. We have so many different emotions. If you think about the collective energy, it is very chaotic, and sometimes there's a lot of fear, and it goes in different waves. And then there's a lot of good stuff too, and we have a lot of people that are connecting, like we're doing right now, to bring in more love and peace, so we can put that into the energy. So there is different experiences you'll have where you feel like sometimes things are really difficult, and other times where it seems like it's a little bit easier for you. But the more that you just kind of surrender and let go to it, the easier it is to go through that experience and have it be something that is like your whole life is more like, okay, it's a journey. It's like, what do I want to learn now? What can I do to bring in more happiness in this moment, even though maybe there's things that are a little harder? So tonight the spirits are going to bring in some messages about that and a few other things that they want to talk about, related to bringing in this peaceful energy. So I have a question in the chat. Will I get the house I'm renting? Let me connect to your spirit guides and see if we can get a message for you. Okay, is this a house that you're wanting to rent, or is that what you're asking? I just want to verify. You can answer that in the chat, and then I'll get back to you on the question, because I think they want you to be clear on your question. So just let me know if it's one that you're wanting to rent, or it's one that you're renting that you want to buy, or how that is exactly. The first spirit that we're going to bring in is Michael Landon. So his energy, he has a lot of different, very strong philosophies on things that he's learned from the other side and how he looks back on his life. And one of the things he brought up first was peace from the other side. Is how he brought in his reading. He was saying peace from the other side. He was trying to bring in peace to us, to say, I'm here with peace, basically. And he said, quite a highway, isn't it? Let's talk about peace, harmony, and all those good things and how to get there. Because a lot of times we hear the messages from spirits telling us to be in that peaceful energy. And then we're like, yeah, but my life's really difficult. I have a lot going on. Things aren't going the way I want to. I don't feel that great. I'm worried about this and this and this. And that can't be possible, because don't you see the physical world is so hard? Don't y'all get it? So they do understand and see that we're here to have a different experience, and that we have these things that we're working through. Some of them are for us to learn lessons, but some of it's just normal things in the physical world that go on in your daily life. So they do know that, and they want to say they can, help you more with that. And you can reach out and ask questions so you can get some kind of knowledge of that, what path to go on, your intuition kicking in more with their strength. Or if you just need help with something it could be anything. I mean, literally, any task you do, anything you're trying to work on, you can get help from them. Just ask your spirit guides, your angels, whatever you feel connected to. You can ask to get some help with that one thing, because sometimes we forget. We're like, I'm just going to do everything myself. I'm just going to go through life. I know what I'm doing. I'm driving the car. But it's funny how we do that. But then we say, how come nobody's helping me? And then, they're there going, well, we're here. So think about that when you're overwhelmed with stuff, that there are ways that they can kind of direct the energy, help you, bring a little peace to you. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm renting it now. So I'm gonna go back to the chat real quick. Someone's asking about renting a house, and you want to buy it. Okay. The landlord wants to sell. All right. So on this one, what I'm getting is they're telling me that you should also consider other options. So as a comparison, like you want to have something to kind of see if you're getting the best deal for that or not, if you can work it out, just so you can like have a backup option, or have another thing to see, like, what is this worth what the house, they're trying to sell it for or whatever. So look into that. They said maybe get some other options, look around. I don't know if you have or not, but just, they're telling me to keep considering other things, just to have that backup. They feel like you will buy something, but they want you to be more open to it, because it's, what they're trying to say is there's other things that you're not seeing, I think, that might be, there's a bigger perspective of what else there could be out there. So think about that, because they want you to make sure that, if that's the place, or it's another place, that it's the right one for you, that matches where you're going in the next part of your path. So make a list of the things you're interested in having in the house, and make sure that house meets all that criteria, and that, the deal is going to work out for you. Make sure you're getting the best deal. So that's why they want you to look at other things. Okay, now we're going to go back to Michael Landon. If you're joining me for the Magical Messages of Love, we are talking to Michael Landon tonight and getting messages about ascension and spiritual awakening. If you have questions for Michael or any other spirits that come up tonight, you can put your questions in the chat, or if you have other questions about your life to your spirit guides, you can put those questions in there as well. So he says, on my show, I thought I had the idea of what heaven might be like, but he said it's more than that. So this is something I hear about a lot. A lot of spirits will tell me they thought they knew what it was going to be, and then it was something else. It was like way more than they thought, so it's kind of in our consciousness, like we get the idea of how it's been presented to us in different ways and what we believe in, and then that creates what we think heaven will be like, or what the other side will be like. And so he's just saying that we have an imagination, and we can kind of get there in a way. We can kind of understand what it is, but we don't really know. We kind of have glimpses of it. We just don't have the full thing. So it would be like if you saw a trailer for a movie just for a few seconds, like say 10 seconds, and you thought, well, that's all of heaven, that's all of, the spiritual realm. But, there's several volumes of the movie, different versions of it in different languages and all these different things. And that is what it really is. So that's what he's trying to say, is like, we can get into our imagination and think about it a little bit, but it's definitely more than what we've been talking about. And he says the human mind can only understand that small segment of what we think it is. It's, what we think it is in our physical world is so much different. We just can't quite grasp onto what it can be beyond that. But if you want to know more, he says you could, read a book about it. You could watch a movie or ask a friend, talk to people, get involved in things. You could look out the window and kind of get a glimpse of maybe that's what heaven is like. But he said, but then what is beyond that? He says, what is beyond the beyond? If you keep going beyond that image of you looking out the window or even going outside, what is beyond all of that anyway? Is it way out there? Is it way out there? Is heaven out there? Or is it in here? So he was bringing us back to our heart space and, just being aware that we can feel heaven. We may not know for sure what it is and the imagery and everything that can be, but we can feel it. We can feel the connection. We can feel the love. We feel our loved ones around. Sometimes we'll notice when something is like a sign that they're here, or we feel their presence close to us, and that's when we're feeling heaven. And you can connect and reach to this concept of the spirit world of heaven every day, or you may wish to call it peace or bliss. You can label it whatever you want. You can call it heaven or peace or bliss or pure happiness or joy or whatever floats your boat. That's what he said. Whatever you like, however you want to refer to that energy, that place, that experience, that feeling. And he says, now I'm going to teach you how you can connect to heaven. And we will call it the Michael Landon School of Hard Knocks. So he's trying to be funny here. He says, because some of you are resistant and many more are in fear of being free. So he says, having freedom isn't you like just imagine floating around, you're just doing whatever you want. That's kind of how we picture freedom. Freedom isn't just floating around. It isn't you not being chained down, which is what we think about freedom is just you're just not, stuck in something. Real freedom, true freedom, is allowing love to be the guide, breaking down the walls of fear to let love shine within you and around you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect to Michael, and he is going to take us through an experience where we just take some breathing exercises here. We're just going to breathe with him, and he's going to show us how we can connect to this feeling of heaven. So if you're just joining me now, you can put your messages in the chat as we're going along, and we're going to do this experience with Michael Landon. So right now, close your eyes and begin to breathe in deeply. And just relax in your space. And as you're breathing, imagine your breath has wings like a bird. Instead of holding in the breath tightly, let it expand your heart space. Imagine a golden light expanding in all directions as you breathe in. And then as you release the breath, notice that your heart feels lighter with each breath out. Now those first few breaths are there for you to release any tension or stress or any constrictions. And now take another deep breath. Deep, deep breath, and imagine the most beautiful, majestic bird about to take flight. And when you breathe out, set it free, let it fly. So this is just a visualization for you to do whenever you feel tension or stress, or you feel like you just need to connect and you want to feel more peace. Just go through a little bit of that, for 5 or 10 minutes and breathe deeply. And as you take each breath in your life like that, when you're doing the practice, it will get easier. And like it may take you like a couple minutes to get the constriction to be, released and be more open and feel that expansion. But what he's trying to do here is show you how if you will breathe differently and allow more of this expansion, this changes your energy. It shines your light brighter. It helps you to feel that expansion of peace and love. What can happen if we don't do more of this deeper breathing and really connect to the earth and ground and take time to just relax? If we're more stressed and anxious inside and we're just, our body's real tense and tight, then it's, difficult for us to handle things that come our way. And we also are restricting ourselves from connecting to the things we desire, or to love around us, to have good connections with people, good relationships, good jobs and things that we want to do. So when we get stressed, we tend to bring our energy in real tight. And it's like almost like a band around our heart and our chest area. And so we don't even realize we're taking shallow breaths, and we're not really fully breathing in that energy that is available. And another thing that you can do is when you're trying to balance your energy, like some days you're maybe a little bit more depleted, maybe other days you feel good. And this can vary based on how many things you're doing and, what's going on for you. On the days when you feel a little bit better, you can begin to gather that energy, just kind of use your imagination and place it into something that reminds you of the energy. So you can like hold a stone and imagine the energy going into the stone, or you could do it for another object, or like maybe just if you sit in a certain chair or someplace outside or wherever you are that's your favorite place to relax and meditate. Just imagine that that is where you're gathering the energy for you to heal and release things, so that if you have a day when it is more stressful for you, you can go to that place. You can go and hold that stone or be in that particular chair or wherever it is, and then just say, okay, I need to bring that energy in now. I need to receive that energy and that healing because I'm a little depleted right now. So that's another thing that you can do. And so Michael was just directing us to do that because I think he felt like his experience, he probably didn't take the time to, understand that he could do all these things and really expand his energy more. Like, I think he was probably, even though he was very wise and he was definitely an old soul, he was stuck in the physical experience and maybe didn't connect to all of these things as much. He says, when I lived my life as Michael, I didn't always embrace that freedom within me, but you can embrace it, because we're learning a lot more about this now. Even if you do like yoga or other practices, you can learn how to be more in a relaxed state, like out of your mind, or move your body a certain way so that your breath can expand. So there's a lot of things you can bring in to help with this. And remember, the more you release and the more you expand your energy for love, the easier your life is going to be. The more everything will get into alignment and things will start happening, and it'll feel really magical, and just all of your dreams are going to start being like reality right in front of you. So it's a lot about manifesting too, and ascension kind of brings you through that process, because you're learning at first just how to know yourself and how to know how to do these spiritual practices. Then eventually it turns into maybe being the teacher for other people, or giving back in some way, or sharing things with people in a way. So it just continues, as your life grows and you go on the journey, you're always learning new things. And remember, sometimes you're stepping into something, even after you've been doing things for a while, sometimes you step into something new, and it's like you're learning again, you're the student again. So sometimes that happens. You're not always going to be, as you grow through the ascension process, you're not going to always be the master or the teacher. Sometimes you're going to go back to be the student because there's something else you want to learn. And just remember to, in that process, allow for you to be the beginner in that moment, and like just let it be what it is. Just release into it and surrender to it, and let it grow with you. He says, remember that thoughts, if we have like toxic words and thoughts, or, even chemicals, things we're around, feelings that we have or other people have, can build up in different parts of our auric fields, our energy fields, and which can then reflect into our physical body. So it can cause different diseases and things that are happening, imbalances. So he says just to be more aware of that. And it's funny how we don't really always notice, what's happening like over time. Like if we do that for a little while, we realize maybe we're off track and we're feeling anxious or having thoughts that are not very helpful. But what we're not realizing is how much it's blocking us from things. And over time, it builds up and creates all these ways that things are not going to be open for you. So it's just noticing it. It's like we're not all perfect. That's not the point, but it's just being aware of it and being able to shift it. And as long as you can see that, oh, wait, that's not really good for me. That's not really helping me out. Let me kind of shift my thoughts to something else. Let me put it in a different direction. That will help to, begin to dissipate that so that you are building more of the positive thoughts for you to go on your path. So he says, letting things go will help you to be more prosperous and happy and fulfill your life with all the good things you dream of. Every time you think of a thought or feel an emotion that doesn't align with your dreams, let it go and replace it with a story of one small segment of your dreams. So take like a little part of your dreams, and maybe let's give an example. Let's say that you want to, I don't know, maybe you want to do healing practices. Maybe you want to be a Reiki practitioner or something. And so that's your dream, and you're kind of starting on that path. And maybe at the beginning you're struggling with the process of this whole ascension thing, and it's feeling awkward. And maybe you have days where you go through these strong emotions or thoughts or whatever. Just know that you can allow yourself to move through it, but then replace it with something else. So replace it with a small part of what your dreams are. So remember that you want to be a Reiki practitioner, and okay, let me imagine myself doing this healing work with other people. Let me imagine myself like giving Reiki to myself, or let me just give Reiki to myself right now, or maybe I'll kind of visualize opening up my own practice, or, sharing stuff with other people, like in a group setting or something. So just use those things to hang on to like create a new opening for you to be more connected to your authentic self, so that you can shed the old stuff. You can let go of things a little easily. So he said it's like getting out. It's like letting out the water in a bath drain when you're letting go. It's like if you take a bath and you let the water out, it's like letting the water out of the bath drain. And then the next time you fill up the bathtub, it's like you have that clean, pure water, and you can put, essential oils in there, and just imagine that higher vibration. So he says, like when you let out the old bath water, that's letting go of the old energy. And when you fill up the bath, that's like bringing in new energy. So that's how you can see when you're making these shifts and trying to change your thoughts and emotions a little bit. That's what you're doing. You're kind of cleansing yourself and letting go of anything that's old and stagnant. Okay, let me go to some messages in the chat. We're just talking with Michael Landon right now. There's a lot of questions here. Let me see. I maybe just go to one question, and then we can talk more off of the show, because there's quite a few questions here. But will I meet anyone special to grow old with? Okay, and you said there's heartache from health problems too. From loved ones. Okay. Okay, on the finding the special someone, there is something about the vibration that needs to shift a little bit. And I would start with, to create this vibration, I would start with making a list of maybe the top few, 5 to 10 qualities of what you're looking for in somebody. So if anybody else is listening to this, and they're looking for a soulmate, you're trying to match with someone, I just want to give you all a tip about this. So you basically start to become more of what you want, right? You don't do the things that you don't want. So you change your own energy, you change your own feelings and thoughts and whatnot. But first start with just making a list of what's the most important to you so that you can really fine tune that and focus on it. And that way, if you are crossing paths with somebody, you can know whether that is really something that's the right match for you right away, because you already know that this is where your energy is going. This is what you desire. And so those other people won't be able to come to you as much. And if they do have that moment where they cross your path, you can see right away that it's not going to work, right? So first, I would just do that. The other part is I would do a lot of things with the heart chakra and clear that out and make sure that there is not anything there that's keeping you from being open to it. And just be kind to yourself every day. Like really take care of yourself and do things that make you happy and put you into that vibration of being super happy and feeling good and liking what you're doing and, you know, just loving yourself basically. Because if you think about it, if you love yourself, I mean, literally to the core of your being, no matter what's going on with you, if you just love yourself deeply, and then you start to emanate that, okay, rather than frustrations or other things that might be coming up. If you emanate that more, and then what's going to happen is whatever person comes across your path at that time, they're going to be noticing that you feel that you are love, and so they're going to match that. So you want to make sure that you are in that space for that to happen, because if you're not, then you might attract something that comes from the other place, you know, more of your worries or other things. So those are a few tips, and there's a lot of other practices that you can do. There's a lot of things, you know, you can do meditations, of course. There's a lot of yoga poses you can do to open up, and you can do stuff with crystals as well. Like you could get a rose quartz, and there's other crystals, depending on what you're attracted to, that might help to open that up more, to bring in what you would classify as your soulmate. Like you can go pick out a crystal and say, this is my soulmate stone, and that will carry a certain vibration and bring them in. So think of it that way. And then the other question you had about the heartache with the health problems of loved ones, I think that is part of why we're talking about that. That's why they brought that up, is if you have other things going on that's affecting you, you know, you have grief going on, people are struggling around you, or maybe you've had stuff happen to you recently or in the last couple of years, it can still kind of, you know, drag you to that place of that frequency that's not really allowing you to completely open up. And I know that's a little difficult when you have things going on at the same time that you really do want to find, you know, people in your life or things to go really well for you. So just know that if you keep doing these practices and you keep opening up, and just know that you don't have to take everything on, because, you know, if you're an empath, you might take on a lot of things from other people, family members and whatnot, and that can keep you from finding your own peace, even if things are going on. I would look into there's some books, and I don't have the names of them off the top of my head, but there's some books that talk about more of the heart space, the heart-centered heart chakra clearings and balancings, and the Buddha heart, you know, like the Buddha heart of like just having that peace no matter what is going on. So I would look more into that and maybe do some meditations that are more from the heart chakra and from a love frequency. Get those things more in alignment and keep doing that. You could also try like singing bowls and things like that too. So just keep doing those practices. And from what I'm getting from spirit is that it can happen, you know, within the next year or so if you just start to do these regularly. And then the person that you meet and will align with that, and they'll be kind of doing similar things. And then the other things, they'll start to become easier, kind of fade away a little bit, you know, as things are happening around you, so that it will feel like you have a different experience. Like it's like you walk into a new world or whatever. So you have been going through what they call is kind of like a, I don't know, more of a tumultuous time, something where there's a lot of things happening at the same time and a lot of layers of things. And so that's why that's coming up. So I wish you much peace on your path, and I hope you can connect to all of these practices to help you. And just if you have another question related to that or something else that I didn't answer, just send me a message in Facebook later and we can talk about it more. So with Michael Landon, we're talking to him right now, and there was just a few other things that he brought up, and he talked about there is a very strong collective energy right now that's affecting everyone. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed by anything, if you feel really emotional, if you're crying, angry, I don't know, whatever's going on, it could be literally anything, physical, things are falling apart. There's a lot of collective energy that's so strong right now. Like, we're trying to bring in more love and shift it that way, but it's still, there's a lot of other things going on too. So know that you might feel that stronger now, because if you are, going through this process of awakening, you're more sensitive. That's one of the symptoms of ascension, is to be more sensitive to other people and things in the collective. And so as we're kind of all trying to shift the energy, unfortunately, sometimes we feel it stronger. And if you're an empath, like I talked about, you are more sensitive, and you might feel like, is this me? What is this? Why do I feel this way? And it could be that it's not just from within you. It's from, maybe people around you or the group collective. It's, all of your past lives. It could be a lot of different things. So just know that you can work through this. If you continue to do some of the things that I suggest with meditations and breathing and things like that, you'll find it easier to get through it. And know that when you finally find that one thing that it's like, okay, this is my point of peace. And I think that's really important, because I know I went through my own process of opening up spiritually and having my gifts come out, and it was, kind of awkward at first. And I think for me, there's still processes that I go through, because I'm always changing and evolving. And I do have to kind of change from the time what my point of peace is. So, maybe earlier on it was, okay, I'm going to do a lot of meditations, and I focused on that. But then eventually I might shift into something else because I'm drawn to something else. I might start painting because I'm like, okay, that right now, that feels like that brings me peace. So it could be anything. You might make new friends, that brings you that connection of peace. So it's a lot of different things, but just find your thing in that space of that phase of your life. Like, what right now will bring me the most peace so that I can get through this? And don't be afraid to reach out. What Michael mentioned is to make sure that you find your community, your tribe, your group, whatever organization, whatever you want to be a part of, to volunteer, to be of service, to reach out to people, take classes, help each other, go into that positive energy, that peaceful energy, because that is there for you. It's everywhere, but sometimes we tend to want to do everything ourselves or isolate ourselves and think we're the only ones going through this. And we're not the only ones. We're all experiencing moments of anxiety or fear or something that's coming up, because we're always shifting things out that maybe we're buried deeper into our soul level, like what is really there. So just know that if you reach out, you will get more guidance, and you can also reach out to your guides from the other side. And then at the end, Michael mentioned, he said, peace in, peace out, breathe in, breathe out. Be the bird and be the voice of change. So he's just reminding everybody to keep that breathing up. And you can even ask him to come in with you when you're doing your breathing. Spirits want to work with you. If you're just joining me, you can put your questions in the chat. We're talking to a few spirits about spiritual awakening, ascension, and just finding our peace. So right now I'm going to switch over to another spirit. We're going to talk to Annette Funicello. And so I want to say that her energy is very, like, kind of childlike in a way, like very fun and vibrant and easy and happy and all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to put really quickly, I'm going to put her name on here so y'all can see who I'm talking to. Okay. And she is very excited to talk to y'all today. And she says that she's trying to be funny about this. She says everything was running smoothly for everybody, of course, until you got to ascension, and then you're like, okay, what's happening? Everything's gone crazy here. We don't know what's going on here. So she says it's not always easy to allow this new vibration of energy. You know, sometimes we fight it. Sometimes we don't want to be into that weird thing where we're shifting back and forth. And she says she describes herself as a fun lady, and she says, I know I was good at putting the, you know, smiles on people's faces for so many people. But she says in that time, like she was doing that, and she sees now as she's looking into our experience that we're struggling with, you know, laughing and smiling through things, that she sees that we are maybe not aware of how much we're frowning or unhappy or just like not finding that place of, you know, having fun. And she says she wants to say that it isn't like if you see somebody unhappy or you even feel that yourself, just know that it isn't necessarily that they're depressed, which may seem that way. And yes, there are people that are depressed, but she's saying sometimes that's not what you're seeing. And it isn't that you're seeing their entire life is in shambles or that, you know, that day was really bad for them. It may not be any of those things. What is really happening is that they are noticing their lack of authenticity. So they no longer feel that comfortable feeling in their world, which they had created before. So now you start to feel that like, oh, wait, where do I fit in? What do I do? I don't know if this feels right. And so that's where that weird expression comes in. You start to feel almost like you look like you're depressed or something is off because you're not sure what's happening within you. And she says, you know, you may say, I know someone like this that always seems unhappy and down and complaining, like they constantly stub their toe or something, right? And she says, I ask you to refrain from judging another, from seeing like their faults, you know, the weaknesses, the inconsistencies. Instead, look deeper and notice that they are slowly emerging from the cocoon. They're getting to know themselves, their true, real, authentic soul self. So there is this weird awkwardness to it. It kind of reminds me of when we're teenagers and we're going through different changes there and we're not sure about anything and we're just going through all the awkward stages of life at that time. And so it's kind of like that. Ascension's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like going to another country you've never been to before, you know, trying something brand new, like learning to dance a dance move you never did before or something. It's very different. And so it's a little different for everybody, but I'm going to mention some symptoms of ascension so y'all can see kind of things that might happen. Like I talked about, you can have sensitivities. So this could be to chemicals or people or emotions or, you know, anything. Like you could feel energy differently. You might have physical symptoms like headaches or feel like really hot or, you know, maybe even have temperature changes, hot and cold. You might feel like there's this frequency that like a vibration in your body or, you know, like shaking or tingling. You might have ear ringing or maybe hear things, songs or something like that. Start to see halos, auras, colors. Maybe you feel like you're kind of lost. You don't know what to do. You're confused. You're not sure what the next part of your journey is. You might feel like you don't belong here. You want to go home and you don't know what that is exactly, but you start to feel that way. Maybe your telepathic abilities, your psychic abilities get really ramped up, really strong. Or, you know, you just kind of not sure who you are. Are you this person you were before? Are you this person now? Is there something else? Are you missing something? Do you have you might have like body aches or insomnia, be up all night, be waking up at 3:33 a.m. in the morning, or have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. You might even have like sudden changes in things that you're doing, like you decide, I don't want to do this job anymore. I'm going to change that because it's not making me happy. You might have moments where you have the energy come in so strong that you get like these really intense ideas, inspirational points, maybe even channeled messages like I do. Those are things that can happen. You might feel like anxious at times, depressed at times, crying spells, you know, dizziness or panic attacks, just feeling intense energy at times. And so those are some things that happen. So I just want to let y'all know, because if you do have anything like that, just to know that it's kind of part of the process, because what we're doing is when we're changing these frequencies, we're moving from this denser vibration to a higher vibration. So in that change, in that higher light, it's going to do things to our physical body. It's going to cause us to release emotions and stuff. And so that's why it feels like that. And then the other part that Annette was talking about is in ascension, all of us have to make this journey, all of us. So even if you're not aware of it, you know, people may not even know that's what's going on with them. But even beyond this world, we're doing ascension as we go on. It's not just physical experience. We make this journey. So she says it's kind of like a confusing vacation where you lose your luggage, you get on the wrong plane, and you end up in the desert when you wanted to go to the beach. So that's what she's trying to say. It's kind of funny. It's like you think it's going to be this, but then it's something else, and it changes every day. So you really never know what it's going to be. She says, but how do you manage that weird feeling of transformation? You know, like really changing. It's like being in that cocoon and becoming the butterfly, right? You know, she says you learn about yourself in this process. So you begin to get to know yourself. Say, self, who am I? Hello. let me say hi to myself and see who I am. You have fun. You appreciate life and, you know, love yourself all along the way. Just no matter where you end up, even if it's in the desert or if you get lost along the way, you just keep loving yourself through it. And she wants to tell us a little joke real quick. So I'm going to see if I can go into it. It's pretty interesting. She's kind of funny about this ascension stuff. So here goes the joke. She says, a man is in an accident and he gets hit by a train while reading his favorite book about astral traveling. He wasn't paying attention and tripped. And, you know, you get how the rest of that part goes. So when he gets to the other side and he stands before his version of God, the source of all love, who is strangely enough wearing a flannel robe and holding a newspaper. The man asks God, why am I here so soon? I was trying to ascend by studying about astral traveling and dimensional shifts and raising my frequency. And I had all these things I wanted to do. God says to the man, ascension is not where you are, it's who you are. So you may still ascend, but now you will have all the answers and you don't need to worry about those books because we have plenty. And hopefully, she's saying now, and hopefully this little joke helps you to know that it is okay to have fun while you ascend and awaken your light. You don't need to be so serious. So it's just showing you how ascension just keeps on going, and we don't have to know everything. We don't have to read every book, you know, do every single thing out there. Just find what feels right to you and what you want to do with your life. You know, what is that thing that brings you that happiness? And she says the truth is God, or the source of all love, just really wants you to have fun with your life. That's the ultimate goal, have fun. So if we just kind of simplify our lives and say, okay, we're just going to have fun, that's a lot easier. We don't have to worry about a lot of things. And wherever, you know, go wherever your heart goes. And, you know, next time you take that trip or vacation, God will be the pilot, taking you wherever you go, wherever you are, things, you know, wherever your heart desires to go, God will take you. And so, by the way, I want to mention on that reference to God that God is whatever you believe in. It's like the source of love, or it's the universe, or it's, you know, a higher presence, or it's a frequency. It's whatever you want it to be. You can call God any name and imagine anything in your imagination for that source. I'm going to get to your question towards the end. If I don't finish all the questions, I can answer them in Facebook. You can send me a question through there. So the last spirit that we're going to talk to is George Burns. And so he's really funny because he says, I'm the oldest guy here except Moses and God, of course. So he's trying to be funny about himself. He says, I look a lot like God, but I'm a lot cuter. So, and he says, he was trying to give me an image of him, and he said he still has the cigar. And if you're wondering, you know, he's trying to keep up his look or whatever over there. He's like trying to keep up the image or whatnot. And he says that he's going to be coming back soon, a new improved version of him to Earth. I don't know when this will be, but this is something that he mentioned. And he said, you know, maybe it'll be a shorter life, maybe a longer one, who knows? But either way, I'm going to make it count. I'm coming back as a young man in Hollywood who gets all the babes. And he says, just kidding. I have a few lessons to learn because I like the challenge. And that's the way he was in his life. I think he just kind of, pushed hard to like go the extra mile, and he stayed around for a long time. So everyone here is welcome to gather now and tune into this frequency of love that I'm bringing for y'all. I want you to feel what it feels like to be yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Life isn't perfect, but what fun would that be? We like, watching y'all come up with interesting ideas or try to do everything yourself, but he says, that we can help you, right? Doing dinner, mowing the yard, whatever you're doing, those are the fun parts of life, right? We can help you. Just ask for help. He says, if you don't ask for help, it's okay. We'll still watch and be on backup duty. So he says, let's talk about consciousness now. I think it's time that you free your mind from all the worries. Those worries are like cobwebs. You got to clean up the attic every now and then before you have a spider community taking over. And he says, it's simple. This is how you free your mind. You look into my magic wand. And he's saying his magic wand is his cigar. He says, you see where the smoke is coming out? Where there's a little fire burning in the cigar? Keep looking. What else do you see? Look closer. Do you see it? Well, I'll tell you what it is that you see. Absolutely nothing important. Nothing there to see, just like your mind. When you worry, there's nothing to see, nothing to know, nothing to keep. It's like a conveyor belt at the grocery store going 100 miles per hour with piles of food. You aren't going to catch up on and hold on to that food, are you? And neither can you hold on to your thoughts. Let them go. There, my work is done. God has spoken. Good luck on clearing the cobwebs. So that was George Burns. And I think I forgot to change the thing on here, but let me change it over for y'all. So that was George Burns bringing a message for everybody, trying to be funny about his thoughts on what we go through, and just to see it from a funny perspective rather than struggling with things. And let things go. Don't keep collecting all the cobwebs in your mind about things that you're thinking about, worried about, and all that kind of stuff. So really quickly, I'll mention that if you want to increase your vibration, you can eat high vibrational foods, let go of the worries like he's talking about, ask for help like they talked about, meditate, relax, listen to music, go outside, do things that are fun, take a bath one night, find things that you can laugh at, watch a funny show or something, hang with friends and laugh. Get more sleep if you can, because going through this stuff can really mess with your physical body. And find an exercise that you like to do that's more fun. Don't make it like torturous or anything. Like, do something that you really like. And maybe you can use other things like try essential oils or do some kind of energy clearings or energy healings to help out as well. And then I'm going to share with y'all real quick a few things that are up and coming. And then I'll come up back to the chat and we can talk about questions that y'all have still. So tomorrow I have, let me see here. This is the one I want to show you. Okay, tomorrow I have a meditation coming up, the Lemurian Crystal Energy Activation Meditation. It's at 2 p.m. And you can go to my website, pambarsh.com, or you can go to my calendar there and sign up for it. It's going to be good. It'll be bringing in a lot of the crystalline energy to clear things out and connect to things that you need to know from that particular dimensional energy. So it's really going to be good. They're going to bring in a lot of wisdom for us. So join me for that. And then next week, we're going to be doing a Pathway to Ascension class. And it's on Tuesday, August 31st at 7:30 p.m. You can also go to my website to check that out too and sign up for that. That'll be really interesting. We're going to talk a lot about stuff that I kind of touched on tonight, but it'll be more in detail about how you can really move through ascension better and what to know along the process of that. And just a lot of tips, and there'll be a little bit of a healing as well. So join me for that next week. And we have plenty of other things that'll be coming up in September. I'll be doing a lot more videos for YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be putting out a lot of stuff about energy healing, some other things, messages from spirits and channel messages and things like that. So go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. And then let me go back to the chat real quick and see. What does my future romance look like? This is a good one, because the first message that I'm getting for you is you've got to do some serious visualizations of this. I would suggest to do an experience where you listen to music or a meditation and you go into your future self a little bit and go forward and see and feel that and just kind of get images and feelings of it. And then know that what that is and hold that and bring it back and start to imagine that in your daily life. And maybe you could even keep, like, I would keep a journal or some kind of thing that you can write down some of the words and things and your thoughts on it and your process of tuning into it, like your experience of what you're looking for. You could even like have images and pictures that you put in the journal or something like that. Just get more into the physical manifestation of it, and then just be open to it coming in. It's something that you have created already in energy. You've already opened up to it being something that's in your mind, like you have it there, your thoughts. It just needs to come out more in a physical form. So I would just begin to put it down on paper, do something with it. You can also make little, I did this a while back when I was doing healing stuff, make little note cards to remind yourself of, you know, different affirmations for yourself, which will attract that future romance, right? Or you can put down like keywords of, you know, what that person would be like or what they would say to you, or, you know, just different things, and start to tap into that and put those, and you can look at them every day and just start like, you know, getting that into your consciousness more. Let it be like an activity that you connect to. And then sometimes what I would do is I would take the cards and shuffle them and see which one would come out for the day. So I kind of focus on it more and do it in a meditation. Or you can do like a crystal thing where you use a crystal, the energy of a crystal, like hold a crystal or meditate with a crystal and have that same intention of whatever that card is, so that it creates that opening more for it. So the future romance is basically whatever you want to dream into it. Like it can be anything. And I can see that your energy is creating this huge opening already. So it's just a matter of making it more into the physical plane. Does anybody have any more questions? If you do, go ahead and put them in the chat. You can also, if you didn't get your question answered or there was a little more detail that you wanted or something, you can message me on Facebook. I also do sessions where you can sign up for readings, and I do hypnosis, past life regressions, and I also do theta healing, where you can release old beliefs and, you know, things that have kind of block energy and you're not sure why things aren't happening. So it could be anything. It could be something with relationships, you know, your healing process. If it's something to do with your path, your career, just anything at all that you feel like, why is this happening and it's not working right? It keeps going in the same direction that I don't want. I can do a session with you with theta healing, and we will look at some of the beliefs that might be kind of stuck there that's keeping you from fully opening up your energy to what you really desire. So you can connect to me through my website at pambarsh.com, or you can go to my Facebook page or the Facebook group Shine From Your Soul and connect to me in there if you want to sign up for a session, or if you just want to get a little bit more detail from tonight about what we talked about. So I'm just going to wrap up real quick, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some things that they want y'all to know as we kind of end our time tonight. So what they would like you to know is that you are in this really pivotal time on Earth right now. It's like we've come in here at a time to make these changes that are like we've volunteered in a way. Like we said, okay, I'll be a part of this. I'll be, you know, this healing practitioner, or I'll be, you know, something else. I'll be like a writer, or I'll be a teacher, I'll be a guide, I'll be whatever I feel like I need to be for this, or I'll just be part of the experience and share love with people and connect with them. And so we come here to be a part of it because we knew that at some point the consciousness was going to shift more to need to go into this place of understanding our spiritual connection, understanding that we're more than this physical body, knowing that we can actually bring in the manifestation power that we use when we're in our spiritual bodies and when we're in the spiritual realm on the other side, right? We can instantly manifest there, right? So here, we're not going to instantly manifest, but we're going to know more how to do it by holding our frequencies a certain way. And the more we do that, the more that we are getting the results that we really desire from our heart, right? So it seems at times that it may be a challenge. It may seem like it's difficult. It may feel like it's impossible in a way. But know that it is ever changing every day. You're getting more into it every day. You're accepting it more. You're allowing it more. And that is just what you need, is just that allowing to be who you are in that moment. You don't have to be 10 years down the road right now. You just need to be where you are in your experience. So let's say that you want that amazing job. You want a great relationship that you don't have. All you have to do is be happy in your present moment. Find that peace right now. Find what makes you happy and do it every day. And then you'll see that time will pass by. You won't even notice because you're having so much fun. And then you'll get to those things that you really desire, and it'll just be there. It'll be in your present moment. So I want to thank everybody for being a part of this experience tonight, and just know that you are love and they are with you all the time. All the spirits and spirit guides and angels are helping you to heal and be on your path. Just want to wish you all a good evening and much love energy. Thank you all.